Hello everybody, thanks for clicking on this video. Today I want to show you the plants I received today from Ecuagenera. Now I ordered most of these plants, 12 out of 13, online in March. But this time I didn't have them shipped to my place as usual. I tried something else. I went and picked them up today at the very first Ecuagenera pop-up store in Belgium. Apart from the 12 plants that I ordered online, I bought one extra plant at the pop-up store today, so there will be 13 plants to unbox in total. Now, interestingly enough, they gave me my plants in 2 plastic bags and not in the usual cardboard box that you get when you order online. Here, by the way, you can see the list of the 12 plants that I ordered, 11 philodendrons and 1 chlorospatha. And let's start with the very first plant that you can see here. So this is actually the only plant that I bought today at the pop-up store. So I got to handpick it myself. This is a huge philodendron Paulo Ryense, and I think this is such a cool philodendron. Obviously I chose the biggest one they had with a lot of healthy leaves. Now look how gorgeous that is. 8 healthy big leaves and a nice new growing point in the middle. Now for each plant I will show you today, I will predict its chances of survival. And for this one I'd say it has a 100% chance it will survive the shipping. Now before showing you the 12 other plants that I ordered online and that I didn't get to handpick myself, I can tell you that so far the Ecuagenera plants that I had shipped to my place were always in very good shape. So now we will see whether this is also the case for the plants that I picked up at the pop-up store today. So let's say goodbye for now to this beautiful plant and let's dive into the 2 plastic bags. Now the first plant is a Philodendron Melanocrism 5. It's one of those big trilobed philodendrons. Now what to say about this specimen that I received? It has 4 big leaves, but the bottom leaf shows signs of yellowing already. This second leaf doesn't look very healthy either. The third one seems okay. And the 4th leaf at the top actually snapped. So I think I will lose at least 3 out of the 4 leaves. And what's worrying is also that the new growing point has this unhealthy yellowish color too. So I'm a bit worried about this plant and I think it may have a 50% chance to survive. We will see. Now the second one is the Philodendron Veru Capetiolum. It's a relatively newly accepted species and the one I got is actually a full catastrophe because all 3 leaves have what I call this kind of zombie green color, which means that they will die off for sure in the next couple of days. The growing point seems okay, but I'm also worried about this second plant, and I'd say it has more or less a 30% chance to survive the shipping. So far not so good. Okay, over to the third plant, which is the Philodendron Furcatum. Now this bottom leaf I will lose for sure, and although the other 3 leaves look okay, I'm actually also worried about this plant, simply because this philodendron is very fussy and needs an extremely high level of humidity. So I would say for this plant that it has a 40% chance to survive at my place. Now, if you think that things can't get any worse, just have a look at this Philodendron Geniculatum. Practically all the leaves came off the plant during the shipping and there's only 2 leaves left on the plant itself. And those 2 leaves are in poor shape too, as you can see. So this plant I would give no more than a 20% survival chance. So far I must say I'm quite disappointed by the way that these plants arrived in Belgium. But let's stay optimistic. We still have 8 more plants to go, so we'll see in what condition those 8 plants are. Now, funny enough, the plant that I was most worried about when I ordered it, this is the Philodendron Melanocrism, actually looks just fine. The 5 leaves look more or less okay. The growing point doesn't look too bad either, so I would actually give this plant a 70% chance to survive the shipping. Now, as far as I know, this isn't the easiest philodendron either, so I hope that I just didn't jinx myself when I said it had a good chance for survival. Let's go and have a look at the next plant. And that next plant is the Philodendron Pulchrum. Now, what disappoints me here is that they send me a baby plant, even though I paid for a big version of this plant. Now, there are two big leaves that don't look too good, and then we have a bunch of tiny baby leaves that look more or less okay. And finally, unfortunately, we also got a dead black growing point in the middle. This means that we have another problem child at our hands with a 40% chance to become an adult plant under my care. Luckily, the seventh plant, which is the Philodendron Capetiolum, is in a very good shape. It has lots of healthy green leaves. I'm not worried about the two small yellow ones at the bottom. There is a nice green growing point in the middle. So overall, this is what I expect from an Ecuagenera aroid, and I'm not worried at all about the survival of this plant. So I give it a 90% chance to survive the shipping. By the way, this philodendron is native to Ecuador, and you might be able to see that the petioles are actually quite rough and somewhat fuzzy. Over to the next plant. This is plant number 8. And this is the Philodendron Rubrosynctum platinum. First of all, one big leaf came off, so I'm left here with 4 big leaves that look as if they are hesitating between being okay and being dead. Now, since these leaves are paper thin, I am actually quite worried that this plant will go downhill in the next couple of days, even though at first sight it may look okay now. So let's say this plant has a 50% chance to survive the trip from Ecuador to Belgium. By the way, these leaves really look stunning, so I'm gonna really do my best the next couple of days to help this plant survive the trip. Then over to the 9th plant. This plant is called the chlorospatha corrugata. So it's actually the only non-philodendron that you will see in this video, although it's also a member of the aroid family. And this plant actually doesn't look bad at all, even though it only has 2 big leaves. Now, chlorospathas need an extremely high level of humidity, so this will be an experiment for me to see if I can keep it alive. So let's give it a 60% survival chance for the moment. And in order to give it the best possible start, I will put this plant right next to my humidifier. Otherwise, I think this plant will die on me in a matter of weeks. We'll see what happens. Let's have a look at the next plant. And with the next plant, we are back on familiar philodendron territory with this Philodendron Scottianum. And there is good and bad news. The good news is that all 4 leaves are still attached to the plant, and the bad news is that they all have these ugly brown stains on them, as you can see. Now, the leaves look as if they might stay on the plant, but let's agree that aesthetically they are not very appealing at the moment. By the way, this is a philodendron that's native to Central America and that can only be found in Panama and Costa Rica. Let's say 50% survival chance for this plant. Next up is a philodendron with a very long name. It's called the Philodendron Heleniae subspecies amazonense. And I must say I like what I see, which is a lot of healthy green leaves. This plant is obviously a climber, by the way, so I will have to give it a stick or a moss ball or something. In any case, this plant I would give like a 90% chance for survival, because basically, as far as I can see, there is nothing wrong with this plant. Now, so far we have unboxed 12 plants, so we arrive at the very last plant of this video, which is this Philodendron Pendulatum. And I think this one is going to be my favorite of today's batch, not only because it's in a very good shape, as you can see, apart from one yellow bottom leaf, but that's not a problem, but also because these leaves are just stunning. They are so long and slim. They have this white central nerve in the middle, and I think it's a small miracle that all these long leaves survived the shipping without any problem. So to wrap up this video, I can say that picking up these plants at the Ecuagenera pop-up store, instead of having them shipped directly to my home, turned out to be rather a bad idea, I think. I will definitely and kindly ask Ecuagenera to replace at least half of these 12 plants, because I'm almost sure that between now and 1 week those plants will be gone. I will also definitely make an update video to check whether my survival predictions of these plants came actually true or not at all. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you feel like it, and have a very good day. Bye bye.